and that it's something you'll go over with your students before you leave the house for school or for any event before you arrive on campus. And so I'm going to make sure you have a copy of that. Also in that email, there will be the new calendar. I'm also going to give you this bullying report and safety report QR code that you can just scan on your phone. It's something you can keep on your fridge or somewhere at your home. If you ever need to report anything, it comes directly to me. And I wanted to make sure you had easy access to this QR code. And then the last thing that will be in there is our link to our student handbooks and our code of conduct, so that you can save that link on your computer and always access it if you have any questions about the student handbook, code of conduct, dress code, or a grading and reporting handbook for the year. Also on there, Coach Woodard made a new athletics handbook that's attached to that site as well. Just as a reminder, I'm going to go to our shared screen for a moment because I want to make sure you remember where all of our return to learn plans are. And so this is our main website, but every campus website has this black button as well that says COVID-19 plan. If you click on this website, or this link, excuse me, it goes to this page, and you can see all the different items we have on the right-hand side of the screen. We have information about our return to play ticket sales and game plan information from the UIL on this one page. The next one shows an FAQ I've started. And then there's a couple of remote instruction links that are really important. Our technology lending plan link, our student meal bag program, our counseling services, and then some instruction extension activities as well. At the bottom of the page, you can see we have a lot of important documents that I've posted. We have our calendar, the screening form. We have a summary table of the differences between on-campus and remote instruction. Then the big document is this one that says Return to Learn. And all of you have seen this document by now, and it's about a 30-pager that shares all of our different topics and information for the start of school as related to COVID-19 planning. So I wanted to make sure you knew where to find this document because it's one-stop shopping for your different questions. And then that attendance letter I mentioned, and a new document called Do Your Part to Help Keep Texas Safe is on there as well. If you go back, excuse me, you can see an important link for food services that I wanted to point out. Mrs. Garrick asked me to make sure all of you knew where the free and reduced meal program application is, and it's right here, and I'm highlighting it for you. And then also the school information for what we call our online school bucks. I couldn't think of it. Sorry, the name escaped me. For where you can put your money in an account where you don't have to bring cash and change to school for meals. On this site, you can see here also we have the information about school bucks. So I wanted to make sure you knew where to see that. And again, it's all right here on our main page where it says cafeteria menus and food service. So a lot of good things right here on the front page: back to school toolkit, the COVID-19 plan, food services, all of our calendars, including cross-country volleyball and football. And then if you have any safety reports, that's what this one is with the graduation cap on it. So let me stop sharing. And I wanted to make sure all of you are on our social media pages as well. Tank the Trojan's been helping me with some safety tips each day, and I've got another one for tomorrow ready to roll. And so hopefully you're tuning in and noticing those reminders as school approaches. And of course, let's get to why you're here tonight, first day of school at West Middle School High School. Take it away, Mr. Clander, dazzle us with all of your incredible news. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Truitt. Welcome everybody tonight. We're glad you could take some time out of your busy schedules just to come and follow up with what we have going on at the middle school and high school. As we come into those first days of school, we want to let everyone know that you should be able to see your child's schedule both in the Skyward format. That would be exactly where you registered for school. So you will be able to find your child's schedule in that. What we're going to ask that our students do when they come to school that Tuesday morning, remember our doors will open at 7:15. We'll have 3 entrances for our non-bus riders. That'll be on the band ag hallway for the high school side. It could also be middle school students as well. and there are 2 front doors. And when they come into those doors, they will go through those safety checks of health screens and asking those questions. So we would ask that you, first of all, make sure that you go over those questions with your kids. That way they know exactly what those questions mean. Once those kids come into the building from that point, if they choose to have breakfast with us that morning, go by and see Miss Garrick and her staff in the cafeteria, pick up their breakfast meal, and then they would go directly to their first period classes. And those will be those schedules that are listed in Skyward for your children. So make sure that you can get on that. If you don't remember how to do that, give us a call at school, and we can definitely give you some assistance with that. As we go through that school day, the kids will be following their schedule as they have there within the Skyward program. We will give every kid a copy of their schedule. That way they know exactly where it is. All of our administrative team, our counselors, every free body that we have will be out and about in the hallways to make sure that everybody can find exactly where they need to be going and get there so we can start our learning process as fast as we can. A couple of other reminders. Remember that this year our school day ends at 3:15. So those of you that have kids that are riding the bus, we will dismiss them by our intercom call. We'll have them exit the building. That way they're outside. They don't have to wait around in the hallways at all. From there, then we'll have our car riders, our drivers and so forth. We'll dismiss those folks as well. But we're really looking forward to some great things. Our teachers have been super hard at work these last 2 weeks. I know I'm ready to see the kids. The kids are ready to be back and see each other and see their teachers. So I really want to encourage everyone to come in wearing their mask. I would even encourage bringing multiple masks with you throughout the day, because I know for me, wearing the same mask all day gets kind of hard. So possibly bring multiple masks with you. That way you can change those out. We would require you to wear your mask throughout the school day. The only time we would not would be during lunch in our cafeteria, which we have all of our tables set up to be social distance. So everybody would be 6 feet apart. So if you've been through the cafeteria before, if you see it now, it's got a totally different look to it. But we want to do that because we really are concerned to make sure all of our kids are safe and they're healthy, and that we can continue our school year all the way through. It's going to be real important this year for everyone to really be in tune with what we're sending out. So making sure that email addresses are correct, that your phone numbers are correct, and that you're following up with those teachers through their Schoology aspects, so that the kids can see the work that they're doing. You can check in with the teachers. You can see exactly all those things that are going on. So we're going to make a big push to make sure our lines of communication are extremely well-versed for you guys, so that you can contact us, we can contact you, so that all of us are on the same page and making sure our kids have a great school year. So if you have any questions, you can always reach us there at school, emails, phone calls, anything. Even come by and see us. But remember, you have to go through a health check to do that. So thank you guys, and we're looking forward to a great school year.
As a reminder, parents, we've got our chat feature at the bottom of the parent Zoom tonight. So feel free to drop questions in there as we go through our different presentations. We'd love to answer any and all questions while we're all together. I'm going to kick it over to Coach Woodard now, who's just back from football practice. We've got a busy week of UIL activities, and I know he has some news he would love to share with all of you. Take it away, Coach Woodard.
Thank you, Mr. Truitt. Again, appreciate all of y'all being on here tonight. I don't have a whole lot to say, just a couple of two or three things. Number one, make sure that you pay attention to our social media and talk to your kids about the things that we're doing, just for the fact of, each and every week and different places we go have separate, different ticket policies. And so we want to make sure that you don't drive somewhere and not be able to get in because you weren't informed or something like that with those tickets. And so make sure that we try to put those out on social media, and we try to put that out and get that to our kids. And I talked to our football kids about that today on talking to their parents about tickets. And so, for example, this week our JV is playing in Robinson at 5 on Thursday, and those tickets are available at admin. They're $3 a piece, and you have to have one of those to get in. And then, of course, if we're playing here on Friday night and our online ticket system's not quite ready yet, so those tickets are available at admin as well. And those are $5 a piece. And so Friday volleyball is here, and of course, we don't require tickets for those. Anybody's welcome to come to those. And then Saturday volleyball is at Gatesville, and they're selling them at the gate. And so just make sure that you talk to your kids, because we work really hard to try to let them know, to pass the word on to you, and pay attention to our social media things, because we try to get that information out there as well. We're going to have a coaches meeting Thursday morning where we finalize all our middle school athletic plans as far as times they need to be here and entrance requirements and where they're going to need to report each and every day. And so we're finishing those up and making sure that those stations are manned properly and with enough coaches and people to make sure that things are the way they need to be. And so be looking for something either Thursday evening or Friday morning to be put out on our athletic department website and also probably through our social media pages that outlines the plan for middle school athletics, the mornings they need to be here early, what those procedures will be, and how we'll handle all of those. So those are coming down the pipe as well. And then the last thing, we kind of got an email from the UIL today that kind of came down a little bit on places in the state of Texas on policies at athletic events. And so make sure that we're adhering to those things. Here at Trojan Stadium, we have every other row marked off. There's signs on them that say "Do not sit here." There's blue tape that goes across them. So those bleachers with blue tape, we don't need to sit on those. We need to make sure we have our mask on. They even outline some things that we have to do on our sidelines with our kids and coaches. And so they saw some things last week throughout the state that they didn't like. And so we got some new direction today on how to handle some of those things. So make sure that we follow those guidelines because they did outline some penalties in there that we want to make sure that we stay away from. So that's really about all I have today. Looking forward to Tuesday when we can get everybody back in school and get on our yearly routine and see our middle school kids because it's been a long time since we've gotten to visit with those guys and see them young men and women. So excited for the next week of school. And like always, if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, call, text, and I'll get an answer to you as soon as I can.
Thank you, Coach Woodard. Let's beat Fort Worth Western Hills. You're going to go Trojans. All right. The next topic is Mrs. Adams. She's going to share some reminders about remote instruction. And before anyone tunes out thinking this doesn't affect you because you signed up for on-campus instruction, remember at any time, the whole campus could move to remote instruction depending upon how our COVID-19 plan goes. And so this is good information for everyone. So take it away, Mrs. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Truitt. First of all, I wanted to share that as of today, we have 103 students enrolled as online remote students, as well as our typical enrollment of on campus. They're included in that of 1,246 students that will start West ISD on September 8th, either on campus or remotely. So we're excited to see your students. A couple of things just to make sure that whether you chose on campus or remote, we wanted to make sure you knew the process for switching from one to the other. So if you are on campus starting September 8th, you're live with us in West ISD, and you make the decision that it is best for your student to go to remote learning, you will need to contact the campus office to make that change. Now, you can make that change from on campus to remote at any time, and your campus principal will then contact me and we'll get all that settled for you. It's a little different if you want to move from remote to on campus. Between now and Friday afternoon at 4, you can still make that change. So if you're one of the 103 families of the students that are scheduled to be remote and you have decided that's not best for your student, as long as you contact us by 4 o'clock on Friday, your student can start on campus Tuesday morning. Beginning as soon as Friday at 4 passes, if you have already chosen remote, the next opportunity for you to switch back to on campus will be the end of the 3rd week of school. Now, you don't have to wait until the end of the 3rd week of school if you want to let us know that's your intention to start on campus at the beginning of the 4th week, but your student would actually not start back on campus until the 4th week. After that, there are 3 other times you can come back from remote to on campus if that's a choice you made at the beginning, and that would be at the end of each grading period. So just some general information. If either one of those things happens and you need to make a switch, you'll need to contact your campus, and then they'll contact me, and we'll get everything switched and ready and contact you and make those arrangements. Now, our for remote instruction students only, at this point, I wanted to make sure you knew that Mr. Don Snook was the point of contact for parents and students who have any issues or questions with remote instruction. I'm going to give you his email and phone number in the chat here in just a minute, so that if you need to contact him for any reason, that you'll be able to do that. We just finished our third and final parent orientation today for remote instruction learners. And if you missed those and you'd like to see the video, I did send that out to every district student yesterday and parent through a school messenger. And so you should have that recording. If you didn't get that message, just feel free to call us, and Mr. Snook will make sure you get that recording. Because at any point, like Mr. Truitt mentioned, we could be going remote. That might be good knowledge for you to have as far as what that means when you do have to do remote instruction. Also, remote instruction parents, remember that tomorrow will be the day you get the email from us that has all of the username and password information, as well as directions for the first day and other district programs that you're going to use step by step. So that should come to you sometime tomorrow. If you do not have that by Thursday morning, please contact Mr. Snook and let him know so that we can figure out why it didn't get to you. A lot of times we might have a bad email address. So if you have not been getting school messengers, we've been sending out quite a few throughout the district. Please contact your campus office tomorrow and let them know what a good email address is for you, because that will be a very important communication tool this year. All right, the last thing I'd like to talk about is daily work as far as remote instruction goes. If your student is a student who likes to work ahead, unfortunately, if they're a remote instruction student, that's going to be a little difficult this year. Remote instruction students' attendance is based on them turning in work each day. So even if they do the work ahead of time, they'll have to log in to get their minutes, 240 minutes per day for all the classes combined, for them to be counted present. So it's not feasible for them to do everything like on a Sunday night, or try to get it all done. They have to, for attendance purposes, based on TEA rules, participate each day. So just want to make sure we clarified that. And finally, I wanted to make sure our remote instruction families knew that we are going to be offering meal bags for those students. So they're available for free, reduce, or pay families. And they'll each have 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches per student per week, available for pickup on the first scheduled school day of the week, typically Monday. Next week it'll be Tuesday, from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the same location they were last year, which is by the softball field, the cafeteria doors. So if you are interested in that, we will have that available next week, September 8th, from 1 to 2. Please call Sandra Kettler at the West ISD admin office at 254-981-2000 to set those up, and she'll be able to help you and get you set up for that first week, and then you can let her know how often you're going to want that. I believe you'll need to call in each week and let her know that you would like a meal bag. If you have any questions, like I said, on remote instruction, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Snook first, and I'm about to write that info in the chat for you, and let us know how we can help you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Adams. I'm looking at the chat, and so far we don't have any questions. So parents, feel free, if you've got things for Mr. Klander, Coach Woodard, myself, or Miss Adams, we would love to answer those. All right, I'm going to keep rolling with some health planning updates. I first want to report that as of today, we have only 1 student with a suspected COVID case who's right now on quarantine, and we have 1 staff member that's still recovering from a positive case. Entry back to campus to be determined based on the 3-pronged test that's in our return to learn plan that you've heard me talk about, and I'll still go over tonight as well. And so things are looking great for the start of school, but we've got to keep strong with remembering all the things Coach Woodard mentioned about our UIL events and the different plans that we have in place, starting right now with our student activities, but also the first day of school on Tuesday, September 8th. The whole key to our entire plan hinges upon really you guys at home doing two things for us: the self-screening and temperature checks before you even leave your homes to come to school or an event, and the masks. As I've talked with other superintendents who've been in school for a week or a few, or even a few weeks, it all comes down to the ability of our students to self-screen and not come to school if they have symptoms or if they're sick, or events like the football game on Friday night that Coach Woodard mentioned, and their ability to keep those masks on. Because as we investigate for symptoms, for possible cases, or we deal with situations where it is a lab confirmed case, eventually after they get tested, it all comes down to, did the students have on their masks when they were in close contact to whoever that student is with a suspected or positive case? And the way the definition works for close contact, I just want to make sure you're all aware of this, because it talks about the direct exposure to infectious secretions like a cough or a sneeze, or someone spitting, or even at a water fountain, which is why we have those turned off except for the bottle fillers. And then it says within 6 feet for the duration of 15 minutes. But then it says without a mask on. And so the key here is, if they have a mask on, the suspected cases and having to close down classrooms or grade levels or the campus greatly decreases. And so it's all about that mask, and it's all about the self-screening. And so we need your help profusely with those two things. As a reminder, we have personal protective equipment available for your students on the campus. You name it, we've got it right now, from desk dividers, dividers in our special education classrooms. If your student forgets their mask, or maybe the strap breaks, we have masks in every classroom, cloth and the paper type for your child. We have wipes, we have hand sanitizer everywhere. Every classroom has hand sanitizer in every entry point, in the cafeteria, in the gyms. Gloves, we of course have the bottle fillers, so remember to send your child with the bottle filler, because the actual fountains will be turned off, and so we'll go straight with the bottles only. And a big one, this is going to sound really minor, but if you think about the germs and our ability to keep things from being spread in our restrooms, we've added back paper towels, and not just the dryers that we've had in our restrooms. And so we've got those back, and we're ready to roll with paper towels. I did want to remind everybody that the symptoms screener is now, it went from 8 to 14 symptoms in the last 2 weeks from the CDC, the TEA, and back to us. And so if you're using our old screener, remember what I said at the start of tonight's Zoom, is that I would send you the new one so you can replace the old one with the one with the 14 questions. All right, so I want to make sure you knew that. On the face coverings, as a reminder, all students 6 through 12 must wear face coverings. Mr. Klander hinted at lunch and when they're drinking from their water bottles that those are 2 times where they wouldn't, obviously. Visitors and staff will have them on as well. And so the masks are, of course, required for buses, and then entry to volleyball games right now, and to be worn during the games when they're inside the buildings. And for Trojan Field for Friday night, it's only entering and exiting the field, and if you come in close contact with someone who's not in your household or your traveling party. And I just want to warn you guys, my internet connection is flashing a little here at admin because of the bad storm that just started. So you may see, may have some problems here as we end. So just wanted to warn you about our connection there. On the face shields, I get asked this question a lot, if they're allowed. I love the face shields, but the CDC said with that close contact guideline of 6 feet, that if you move towards an individual, whether it's the teacher or a classmate, and you've got your face shield on, you've got to be able to pull the face mask on. And so whether you're doing the gaiter or the kind that has the straps, you got to have both if you're in close contact with someone. So wanted to make sure you knew that challenge with the face shield. On our plan for COVID suspected and lab confirmed cases, I just wanted to remind all of you that the key to my notification process is your email addresses in School Messenger, as you heard Mr. Clander mention, and going to our website. I know a lot of districts are not bothering with notifications for suspected, but I've already told you guys that I would do suspected and lab confirmed. And so I'm going to keep a daily log on the website so you know what's going on which campuses. And then, of course, we'll use School Messenger, and we're going to use the email and the text version of School Messenger and not the phone one. Because again, you guys told me in my time I've been here that you hang up and don't listen to that robotic voice on the phone. So we're going to do texting and email for those notifications. And the key is communication, making sure you know how our investigation went for suspected and the close contact information if your child was in a room or a hallway or a locker room with someone that ends up being a positive case. And then making sure that we're following the CDC guidelines for testing and quarantining and making sure that our remote instruction plans in place so your child doesn't miss any learning if they're able to still work on that work as their days pass before they can return to campus. So I wanted to make sure you remember that Skyward School Messenger is the key to my notification process. And lastly, just a reminder for all meetings this year, whether it's an individual teacher conference or maybe you need to meet with Mr. Clander and one of the assistant principals or the counselor, we're trying to do everything virtually like we're doing tonight. And so we're going to use Zoom a lot. And of course, we'll use Google Meets and Google Hangout, whatever you're comfortable with. We'll schedule those in advance. Just call ahead and we'll make sure we've got the link out to everybody so that we can meet like this, which has been very effective since we've done this since March. Also wanted to remind you, and this is a biggie, Mr. Clander and I were talking this week, making sure everybody knows, because I know our kids keep bushes in business for lunches during the week, but off-campus food is not allowed this year. And I know I'm probably getting booed on your muted screen on that one, but it's a guideline about having people coming in and out of the building. If you think about it with the food, and someone could be sick at Bush's, we never know, and we're not, screening them. And so we can't have the food come in and out of the school. So think of this year as a closed campus year, and we need our kiddos to eat in our fabulous cafeteria or to bring their lunch. So I wanted to remind you that for parties and things that the teachers do, it needs to be store-bought, pre-packaged. I know we have fabulous bakers out there, but we can't have anything baked and brought onto the campus as well. For any time that you need to check out a student from the front offices, remember to call ahead. Like when you pull into the Circle Drive, call the front office and say, I need Brian Truitt, and they'll walk out Brian Truitt to you, so you don't even have to get out and come in. And so we'll have a way to process that and identify who you are to make sure it's you. And we'll take your kid out to you for dentist appointments and so on, just to help keep the traffic out of the front offices. And then lastly, on the child nutrition piece, I mentioned this at the beginning, but we had a few come on here in the last 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes. And I wanted to remind you of School Bucks. I showed you the website where it's located. Our cafeteria ladies are not going to be taking money in the food lines. If you think about all we're going through this year, exchanging the money is a no-no. And so the kids can take an envelope of money to the front offices, and the money can be added to the School Bucks accounts. But I can't stress enough that the ladies will not take cash or change in the food lines this year. So you can do it online from home or on your phones. If you want to do the app, it's super easy. I do it, it's amazing. Or you can take money by the offices and they can load it for you before lunch starts. And of course, if you get in a bind there, we allow 3 charges. And so we're never gonna not have a student eat because School Bucks doesn't have money in the account. So we'll work with you on those things. So just wanted to make sure you knew that information. All right, that was a lot. We set a goal to get through everything in 30 minutes, and it's 7:28. Boom, we did that. I'm going to call Mr. Clander back on to see if he thought of anything else to share, and then Ms. Adams and Coach Woodard as well. So, Coach Clander, do you have anything else to add?
No, sir, I don't. Other than the fact that just reminding that all of our kids need to make sure they have their mask, that they come ready to learn every day. We're going to ask that students do turn their cell phones in, so we'll have one of those distractions possibly removed from our classrooms. And we're looking forward to that time when our Chromebooks do arrive. I know there was a question within the chat when those were going to show up. So, right now we're at the mercy of those distributors. Hopefully they're here soon. Our hope is that they would be here for Tuesday, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit later than that. So, but just come ready to learn. Be excited about school. We're excited to have you back. Remember that our doors open at 7:15, and we really ask that we not have kids dropped off before waiting outside the building. So that'll be the best situation for everyone. But, it's going to be a great year. We're looking forward to it.
Mrs. Adams?
Just be sure that if you have any questions about remote learning that you reach out to Mr. Snook, or you can always email me as well at aadams@westisd.net. And we look forward to seeing your face either virtually or in person on September 8th. Thank you.
Coach Woodard? All right. I see some good questions. We just got a new one. Where should the kids go when they're dropped off at 7:15? They're going to go to their first period class, parents. Technically, we were running a 0 period this year before first period begins at 8. And so tutorials and tutoring, intervention time, a lot of new things are going to happen during that time. And so I know Mr. Clander would say go to first period because they cannot wait in the cafeteria or the gyms this year. If you think about having 500 kids in those spaces, that defeats our whole COVID-19 plan. And so they'll move on and then grab their breakfast and go for that. If you haven't checked out the chat, there's a lot of questions about the 7:15 building open time, and our staff is committed to being here at that time. I'm so grateful for that. Some questions, we're selling a lot of different types of masks. There's a question about the gaiter. I was just saying if you get in close contact to a teacher or student, you have to have the face mask with the gaiter per the guidelines. And so that's what I was talking about on that one. If your child wants to try out the face shield. I meant to say face shield. I said that incorrectly, but I think you guys knew what I was talking about. On the quarantine period, no, you do not have to wait until the end of a grading period to come back to on campus. That's not a requirement. As soon as you meet the quarantine guidelines and get us to documentation, you can come back to on campus learning. And then the Chromebooks question, I think Chuck hit that one again about they won't be here until October, unfortunately, because everybody in the world needs Chromebooks right now. So we're at their mercy of that delivery date, but we'll get them out as soon as possible. And it's still an awesome thing that we're going to have those even for a portion of this year. All right, it looks like all the chat questions. We appreciate you being patient with us and love that you tuned in tonight. And I hope you've got a few more questions answered for the first day of school. We can't wait to see your kids on Tuesday. And between now and then, as Mr. Clander said, call us or email us if you have any questions. The admin number is 254-981-2000. You can reach me or, of course, Mr. Clander at 2050. We just had one last question that I'll answer. Kids that ride the bus must wear masks. We're social distancing or sitting in family groups of 2 per seat. We're trying to keep the numbers down to half what they hold. A parent must, for this crew, if you have a 6th grader, we must have a parent at the stop for the temperature check, but grades 7 through 12 do not. If you have a child that has a temperature when they try to board the bus, all siblings must go home with their brother or sister as well, because of then the suspected case planning that goes into play. So I'm not sure if I answered that question correctly, Jessica. Call me if you need more about the bus. We've got a lot of things in place to help keep our kids safe on our buses. All right, take care. Love you guys. Go Trojans and Lady Trojans. See you on Tuesday or at one of our awesome athletic events this week. Take care.